I will now be interviewing Miss Latara Miller. She is a family nurse practitioner who for over 20 years has advised patients on nutritional matters. Let's jump right in.
All right.
All right. So, Miss Latara, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. As you mentioned, I am a family nurse practitioner. I've been a nurse for almost 25 years, actually. And I take care of patients, pediatric, all the way to the geriatric population.
Very nice. All right, so we're going to jump right into our questions. So my first question I have for you today is, what do you believe is the number one cause of childhood obesity and overweight?
Wow, great question, Ashley. I think childhood obesity, our number one cause would be how their parents, how the parents of these children who find themselves obese, how they see and how they handle food choices. There are a lot of options, and sometimes parents, for whether it be lack of education, lack of experience, or lack of finances, it could be a number of reasons that they simply just make poor choices as to what to feed and what to offer their children.
Right, and that really does lead what you said, leads right into my next question. For how low-income families, what greater risk do they have with their children facing being overweight and obese?
Well, unfortunately, the low-income families, sometimes foods that are high in sugar and fat content, they actually aren't as expensive at the onset. So, for example, a parent may pay $1.25 for a box of cereal filled with sugar, and that seems like a bargain. However, as that child becomes obese or overweight, they face health challenges, which are costly.
Yeah.
They need probably larger clothes, like when you start to buy Husky versus your normal sizes. Those are usually a buck or two more in some stores. And then not to mention, if the child becomes like morbidly or extremely obese, then they'll be needing medications, perhaps.
Right.
That is also costly. Now that cost may not go directly to the parent, but nonetheless it's costly.
Very good. Thank you for that. My next question is, what do you believe are the most effective ways to overcome obesity? And if the child is not overweight or obese, what can they do to maintain a healthy weight?
Oh, another great question. So the first part was, what do I think?
What are the most effective ways to overcome
The most
obesity?
effective way to overcome obesity is hands down making smarter food choices. Hands down. We are indeed what we eat.
Yes.
So even, and I think it's great that we get off the couch. We have a lot of campaigns in place, get off the couch, move, and trying to get children out of the house and away from their games and active, which I think is great. But we are what we eat. And until we start to see food differently, and we start making sure that we offer our children better food choices, fruits instead of candy, water instead of juice, just simple things like that. I think we're going to still have this problem of childhood obesity.
Right.
And for those children who are not obese, great. Great job, parents. For those who aren't obese, I think partly it's important for the parents who continue to expose them to options.
Yeah.
And we're just so inundated with junk food. And, when we get together, it's usually a lot of junk food. As a matter of fact, the parent is probably seen as weird or corny if they offer better,
Right.
healthier food choices. But we just have to do that, knowing that it's so important for the children's health, for their, not just their physical health, but for their emotional health, because a child who is obese in elementary, middle, high school, that can be emotionally devastating. And then we see some that obesity possibly could lead to certain eating disorders. So it's a serious matter. So to keep it, those children who are not obese, like I said, great job parents, and they need to continue to offer them healthy food choices and expose them and teach them about healthy food choices, so as they continue to grow up and able to make decisions themselves as to if I want the apple or the cake, they'll choose the apple because they'll know the long-term benefits of doing so.
Yes. All right. One last question I have for you today is, what does a sustaining meal include?
Wow, that's actually a tough question because we have so many different people who have so many different diets. So, for example, you have a vegan, you have people who just don't eat meat, which is different from vegans. Then you have, just a variety. So it's certainly individualized, but I think to sustain you, you definitely we need fat. We need fat. The brain needs fat in the diet. And I don't know why I made that the first thing I said, but we do need fat. We need to have an adequate caloric intake, calories. As a matter of fact, there's a recommended daily amount of calories that we should take in. We also need some sugars in our diet. We need those healthy sugars, or I should say carbohydrates. So we need a lot of the contents that are in foods. We just don't need as much. We need protein. We need protein to help build our muscles. But there's other ways that we can get protein. So, for example, we don't have to have a steak, once a week or whatever, however often people feel like they need to. But there are legumes and beans and other things that are rich in protein. And so I think the ingredients for a good diet, it will vary by individual, but again, those things that we see on the back of our packages, the calories, the protein, the fat, the carbs, we need those things in a diet. And a well-balanced diet should have those things. And it's just, the question is, what source are you going to use to get what you need? So you can get your sugars from fruit. You don't have to get it from other, carbs. So it's just, again, it's back to getting educated and then making the healthier choice on what you eat.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Latara. I want everyone to say thank you, Miss Latara. She was amazing, and she touched on so many great things that can be helpful for parents and the children. So I just want you all to take from this that there is a way that you can make sure that you're eating healthy and getting the proper nutrients that you need. So thank you for watching.